Marcus Chen's hands gripped the steering wheel as the blizzard turned Route 47 into a white tunnel of chaos. His wipers fought a losing battle against the snow. He should have left work earlier, but the overtime meant an extra $100, and $100 meant fixing the heater in 7-year-old Sophie's bedroom before Christmas. "Daddy, I can't see anything." Sophie's voice trembled from the back seat. "Almost home, sweetheart. Just a few more miles." His heart hammered as visibility dropped to nearly nothing. That's when his headlights caught it. A dark sedan on the roadside, hazard lights blinking weakly through the storm. Marcus's foot eased off the gas. Every instinct screamed to keep driving. Sophie was scared. They were barely 3 miles from home, but someone was stranded out there in weather that could kill. His mother's voice echoed, "Marcus, don't let this world make you stop seeing people who need help." He pulled over. "Before we continue, please tell us where in the world are you tuning in from? We love seeing how far our stories travel." The wind nearly ripped his door off. Snow stung his face like needles. He approached the sedan and knocked. Through the frost, a woman sat shivering violently, her face a mixture of fear and desperate hope. Marcus stepped back, raising both hands so she could see them. "My car died," she said through a cracked window. "No cell signal. I've been here almost an hour. I can give you a ride to the hotel in town. There's one about 3 miles from here." She hesitated, studying him. "You could be anyone." "You're right, but in 30 minutes, this storm will be bad enough that neither of us can see our hands in front of our faces. You can take a chance on a stranger or take a chance on hypothermia, your choice." She gathered her briefcase and bag. When she stepped out in her business suit and leather pumps, Marcus knew she'd be frostbitten within minutes. "Here," he shrugged out of his winter coat. "It's 15 feet to my car. I'll survive. You won't in that suit." She put it on without argument, and they hurried to his Honda. "Hi," Sophie said from her booster seat. "I'm Sophie. Are you okay?" "Hi, Sophie. I'm Eleanor. I'm okay now, thanks to your dad." Marcus drove carefully toward town, his hands already going numb from the cold. "Where were you headed?" "Burlington. Meeting ran late." "Storm came in faster than predicted. Not your fault." "Daddy drives really good in the snow," Sophie announced. "He's the bravest." "You're a good dad," Eleanor said, something weighted in her voice. "I try." The Pine Valley Inn appeared through the snow like a miracle. Marcus pulled into the nearly empty parking lot and put the car in park, leaving the engine running. "What do I owe you?" Eleanor reached for her purse. "Nothing. You don't owe me anything." "Please, you went out of your way." "Ma'am, I didn't help you so you'd pay me. I helped you because you needed help. That's all." Eleanor stared at him for a long moment. "Your coat." "Keep it. I've got another at home." A lie. It was his only coat. "Or mail it back when you get home." He wrote his name and address on a receipt. Marcus Chen, 45 Oak Street, apartment 2B, Pine Valley. Eleanor studied the receipt carefully before tucking it away. "Marcus Chen, you might have saved my life tonight." "Just glad we came along. Stay safe, Ms. Eleanor." "Just Eleanor." She leaned forward to Sophie. "Take care of your brave dad, okay?" "I will. Bye, Eleanor." Marcus watched her hurry to the hotel entrance, then carefully drove home through the worsening storm. "Daddy, why did you give her your coat? Now you'll be cold." "Because she needed it more than I did. That's what good people do. They help when they can, even if it costs them something." "Mommy used to say that," Sophie said quietly. Before she left. Marcus's hands tightened on the wheel. His ex-wife Jennifer had walked out 18 months ago, unable to handle the struggles of their working-class life. "Your mom was right about that. Some things she taught us are still true, even if she's not here." They made it home safely. After settling Sophie into bed, Marcus ate instant ramen standing up, too exhausted to cook. He didn't expect to ever see Eleanor or his coat again. He had no idea everything was about to change. The next morning, someone knocked on the door. Marcus opened it and froze. Eleanor stood in the hallway, but this wasn't the shivering woman from last night. This Eleanor wore an immaculate suit, hair pulled back sleekly. She carried a shopping bag and his coat, freshly dry cleaned. Behind her stood a man in a dark suit. "Hello, Marcus. May I come in?" Sophie appeared from the kitchen. Eleanor, you came back. Hi, Sophie, I promised I'd return your dad's coat. Marcus took the coat, noticing the expensive dry cleaning smell. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. Eleanor's eyes scanned the small apartment. Marcus, can we talk? I have a proposal for you. After sending her bodyguard to wait outside, Eleanor took a breath. Marcus, I need you to let me finish before you react. My name is Eleanor Hartwell. I'm the CEO of Hartwell Industries. Last year, our revenue was $340 million. Marcus felt the floor tilt. Everyone in Vermont knew Hartwell Industries. Last night wasn't completely random, Eleanor said carefully, her hands wrapped around her coffee cup. I mean, the storm was real, my car really did break down, but I've been driving that route for months, late at night, through bad weather, putting myself in situations where something might go wrong. Why would you do that? Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. 6 months ago, my husband died. Heart attack. No warning, just gone. And after the funeral, after everyone stopped calling, I started wondering if I'd spent so long building a company that I'd forgotten what actually matters. If the world was just cold now. If I was. She wiped her eyes. So I started paying attention. Really paying attention to how people treat each other. And most of what I saw was people looking away, crossing the street, keeping their heads down. Marcus felt something shift in his chest. This wasn't a test. This was someone trying to figure out if she wanted to keep living. Then you stopped, Eleanor said softly. In a blizzard, with your daughter scared in the back seat. You gave me your only coat, and when I tried to pay you, you looked almost offended. She smiled through her tears. You reminded me that there are still people who just help, not because it benefits them, but because someone needs it. That's just being decent, Marcus said quietly. That's exactly my point. Eleanor pulled out a folder, but her hands were shaking. Marcus, I don't know if this is crazy. My board would think it's crazy, but I've been thinking about it all night. She took a breath. I run a manufacturing company. We make automotive parts. It's successful, but it's become soulless. The managers I have don't see people anymore. They've forgotten what it's like to struggle. She opened the folder. I want to offer you a job, operations manager, $85,000 a year, full benefits, and a $30,000 signing bonus to help you get stable. I need someone who'll treat workers with dignity because they remember what it feels like to be invisible. Silence. Sophie's spoon clattered into her bowl. That's not funny, Marcus finally said. I'm not joking. Eleanor showed him official documents. Full benefits. Health, dental, vision, 401k, 4 weeks vacation. The bonus will be in your account within 24 hours of signing. I work in a warehouse. I load trucks. I don't have a degree. I've never managed anyone. I know. Eleanor's voice was quieter now, less certain. Maybe that's what I need, or maybe I'm making a huge mistake. I honestly don't know. Daddy, is she real? Sophie whispered. Or is this a dream? Eleanor looked at Sophie, then back at Marcus. I'm real, and I might be crazy for doing this. But your dad reminded me last night that there are still people who help others even when it costs them something. That's not common, Marcus. Not anymore. This doesn't make sense, Marcus said. You don't know me. One good deed doesn't qualify me to run anything. You're absolutely right. It doesn't. Eleanor stood, gathering her things. Take the weekend. Think about it. Call me Monday if you want to talk more. Or don't call. I'll understand either way. She pulled out a business card and set it on the table. But I had to offer. I had to at least try. After she left, Marcus stood holding a folder and a business card, his hands shaking. Daddy, are we going to be rich? Marcus sat down hard on the couch. I don't know, baby. I don't know if this is real or if I'm going to call her Monday and find out it was all some kind of, I don't know. But that weekend, he couldn't stop thinking about it. About Sophie's cold bedroom. About the eviction notice he'd hidden in his drawer. About the way Eleanor had looked at him, not with pity, but with something else. Recognition, maybe. Or hope. On Monday morning, his hands shook as he dialed her number. 18 months later, Marcus stood at his desk, looking at the Burlington skyline through his window. The office was modest. 8th floor, nothing fancy, but it was his. Sophie was thriving. The apartment was warm. For the first time in years, he wasn't counting pennies to decide which bills to pay. But what he thought about most was how different work felt now. He'd spent his first months just listening, walking factory floors, eating lunch with assembly workers, asking what they needed. The suggestions had poured in: better break rooms, safer equipment, respect. Eleanor knocked on his open door. "Got a minute?" "Always." She sat down, holding a folder. "Your annual review came back yesterday." His stomach tightened. "And?" "Employee satisfaction up 34%, safety incidents down 41%, and I got 3 handwritten letters from workers thanking me for hiring you." She smiled. One of them said, "Finally, someone in management who remembers we're human." Marcus felt his eyes sting. You just treated people with dignity. That shouldn't be revolutionary." Eleanor set down the folder. "The board wanted me to tell you you're getting a raise, a significant one. You've earned it." Marcus looked at the framed coat. "That night in the storm, I almost drove past you." "But you didn't." "I didn't." He paused. "My mom always said character is what you do when no one's watching. I guess that night someone was." "The universe was watching," Eleanor said softly. "And it brought us both exactly what we needed." 1 year later, it was December again, and snow was falling softly outside Marcus's office window. Sophie was thriving at her new school, friends, art club, a life that felt stable. The apartment had heat that worked, a kitchen that didn't feel cramped, and a second bedroom Sophie had painted purple herself. 3 months ago, Sophie had asked him, "Daddy, are we going to be okay now?" And he'd been able to say, without lying, "Yes, baby, we're going to be okay." Eleanor appeared at his door with 2 cups of coffee. "Got a minute?" "Always." She settled into the chair across from him. "Do you remember what day it is?" Marcus glanced at his calendar. December 19th. His breath caught. A year ago today. A year ago today, I was stranded on Route 47 in a blizzard, convinced I was going to freeze to death in my car. Eleanor's voice was soft. "And a stranger stopped." "I wasn't really a stranger by the end of that drive." "No, you weren't." Eleanor took a sip of her coffee. "I never told you the whole story about that night, about why I was out there." Marcus waited. 6 months before the storm, my husband died. Heart attack. No warning. She looked down at her cup. "I spent so much time building a business that I'd forgotten what actually mattered. I started driving late at night, through bad weather, just existing, seeing how the world worked when nobody was putting on a show." Her voice dropped. "And what I saw was people looking away, people crossing the street when someone needed help. I started thinking maybe I'd helped build this cold world. Maybe it was my fault." "Eleanor." "And then you stopped. In a blizzard with your daughter scared in the back, you gave me your only coat. You wouldn't take money." She smiled through unshed tears. "You reminded me that the world still has good people in it, that I hadn't ruined everything." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, watching the snow fall outside. "Thank you," Marcus said quietly, "for taking that chance on me. I know it was risky." "It was," Eleanor admitted. "My board nearly revolted, but you've proven me right every single day." She smiled. "Employee satisfaction is up. Safety incidents are down. People actually want to work here now. You did that. I just treated people like humans." "Exactly. That shouldn't be revolutionary, but somehow it is." Eleanor stood. "Anyway, I just wanted to mark the day, to say thank you for stopping." "Thank you for seeing me." Later that evening, Marcus picked up Sophie from school. She chattered about her day, then dug through her backpack. "Oh, I almost forgot. We had to draw what we're grateful for." She pulled out construction paper with a crayon drawing, their old Honda with 3 stick figures. Above it, "I'm grateful Daddy stops for people who need help." Marcus had to pull over because tears blurred his vision. "Is it okay?" Sophie asked, worried. "It's perfect, baby." He pulled her into a hug. "Absolutely perfect." That night, after Sophie was asleep, Marcus sat in their warm, safe living room and thought about the past year. The job had changed their circumstances, but what Eleanor had really given him was the gift of being seen, of having someone look at a warehouse worker barely keeping his head above water and see worth. His phone buzzed. "Eleanor, dinner Sunday? Oliver wants a chess rematch with Sophie." Marcus smiled. "She'll destroy him again. See you at 6. Eleanor and her 10-year-old son Oliver had become family over the past year. Not in a forced way, but in the way people who've saved each other tend to become. Sunday dinners were tradition now. On Sunday, they gathered around Eleanor's table. Sophie and Oliver were already arguing about chess strategy. Marcus helped Eleanor set the table. "You know what I realized?" Eleanor said as they worked. "That night, I thought I was the one who needed saving, but maybe you needed it too." Marcus paused. "I did. I was drowning and too proud to admit I couldn't do it all alone. And now you know it's okay to accept help, to be seen." She set down dishes. "You gave me more than a coat that night, Marcus. You gave me back my faith that people still care about each other. You gave me back my dignity." After dinner, over coffee, Eleanor raised her cup. "To stopping in storms. To people who see you when you're invisible," Marcus added. They clinked cups. Through the window, Sophie and Oliver were building something with blocks, heads bent together. "Our kids get to grow up knowing that kindness matters," Eleanor said softly. "That's a legacy worth more than any title." The snow had started falling again, soft and gentle. Marcus watched it and felt nothing but gratitude for the storm that had brought Eleanor into their lives, for the choice to stop, for the coat that had somehow brought him everything he needed. "Thank you," he said, "for everything." "Thank you for reminding me why it all matters," Eleanor replied. "For showing me that the best investment isn't in expansion or technology, it's in people." Sophie's laughter rang out, bright and free, the sound of a child who knew she was safe. And Marcus thought, this is what success really looks like. Not a corner office or empire building, just this: a warm house, a fed child, a job that paid enough, and friends who'd become family. The simple, profound gift of stability, of dignity, of being seen. Marcus Chen had stopped in a snowstorm to help a stranger, and a year later he was finally, fully warm. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded that one act of compassion can change everything. Tell us in the comments, have you ever helped a stranger? Or has a stranger's kindness changed your life? Because in the end, we're all just people in storms, hoping someone will stop. Be the person who stops. You never know whose life you might save, including your own.